All right, let me adjust my screen, make sure we're good. Well, we're going to go ahead and kick things off. Hi, everyone. My name is Annalisa, and welcome to our very special Creators on LUKSO live stream for abstract parameters. I'm going to be your host today. And just as a quick recap, this event, or abstract parameters, is a collaboration between Refraction DAO and LUKSO. Earlier this year, I believe in January, Refraction put out an open call to invite artists to apply for this very unique opportunity. And that opportunity is to explore new forms of digital expression using LUKSO's creative tools and infrastructure. And this is the result. And we have a collection of amazing on-chain artworks that blur the lines between digital and physical, reality and simulation, and identity and abstraction. So for this live stream, we're going to be meeting some of the artists behind these works. I know we've done a spaces on this previously, but I thought it would be great to have a virtual art showcase, or like a live stream show and tell. So each one of these artists have used or have created a universal profile and have minted their works using LUKSO standard proposals. I believe that is LSP 7 and LSP 8 to be exact, to create and showcase their art directly on LUKSO. So we're going to be hearing about their creative process, some of the ideas behind their work, and how their experience was bringing it all to life on LUKSO. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to be pulling each of the artists on stage, and each will have a chance to showcase their work. I'm going to get started, and I know I have a note on who we've got first. I believe it's going to be Concord. And welcome. How's it
Hello.
going?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
going
so we'll
good.
take awesome. So to kick things off, yeah, I would love to hear about you as an artist. Where are you from? What is your, I guess, most common form of art? And then we can showcase your work for abstract parameters.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm an electronic music artist based here in Berlin, and I'm also a creative developer. So for this project, I joined the two forces together for animating the cover art of my latest release. It's called Afro New Shores. And yeah, so for this project, I developed a shader application to create this visual animation, and then finally also turned it into a mini app, which so actually also other people can use this application at the moment. At the moment, just on testnet, but it's there and working. So yeah.
Oh, that's fire. Well, I mean, without further ado, go ahead and if you can share your screen, we'd
Yes.
love to see it.
Hmm.
I think I know I was just browsing some of the artworks earlier, and I think I came across this, and but so I'm really excited for you to share.
Okay, I might have some issues here with the Mac
Okay.
security settings.
Oh,
Let me
okay, let me
check.
see if I can.
Does that work? Can you see my screen? I'm not sure.
Um, oh, yep, I can add it to the stage. I see it in the audience. Okay, then you might need to just select the correct tab.
Hmm. Now can you
Boom.
see my universal profile?
And yes, we can.
Perfect. Awesome. So yeah, this is my profile, and here's I created one grid for just this project. So here you can read some information about it, and then this video on YouTube. This is basically the final full result with the song and the full animation of it. I'm just gonna quickly, briefly play it so you can get a feel for it. I'm not sure if you can hear the sound now.
Let's see. No,
But
I don't
also,
believe
I
so, but
like others can explore the full experience with the music. But here,
yeah.
as you can see, this is the final creation. Um, and then you can also go ahead to universal.page, and there it is still available. It's just one of them available. It's my first ever release on chain, so I thought I'm just gonna make it available with a quantity of 1, and also quite fittingly 42 looks here as the price. So yeah, and then finally, this here is the tool that I created, which back then when I used it to create this piece, it was more like a prototype still, but basically the functionality was the same. But now it looks a little bit more neat. Here integrated on the testnet of Studio Luftbrücke. And yeah, so basically how I created it was loaded in the cover artwork, and then there's different settings to play with to animate this image. Here on the top, this is basically just some randomized settings to play around with it. So for example, it could look like this,
Oh, wow.
or more subtle animations here, or more extreme. Yeah, and then we could can be customized here with a more fine grade details, for example. So there's
Oh,
like
that's really
a
cool.
whole universe of things to explore with this little tool.
Absolutely. Okay, wait, let me get our screens back on. Or wait, I want keep your screen open. I would like to I have so many questions. So, as for the mini app, can you tell me like a little bit about, I guess your experience as a builder, and then what was your experience like building this on LUKSO? I think it's awesome that you created this also and release with your artwork or with your single release too. So yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's also the first time I really develop a mini app. I'm also a software developer by profession and an artist by
Hmm.
passion, I like to say. And yeah, so here the idea was initially to make use of the LSP8 standard, where basically now other people could upload their photos, and then they could create their own token, and also store the settings of the shader here on chain, or basically on the inside the metadata. Unfortunately, I'm not very proficient in smart contract development yet, so that was a little bit more complicated for me. So at the moment, it is just a LSP7 token, which is a token gated access to this app. So at the moment, I'm logged in here with my test profile. If I would log out, then
Hmm.
I'm not going to be able to change the image anymore. This
Hmm.
functionality, then here it's locked. But if you own the token, then you can log in and change the image. And
Okay,
yeah.
that is really, really cool. But so I want to go back to your artwork. Uh, I want to know, I mean, what inspired you to create this piece? And I know this was like a release along with your single. Was the single created, or was this music created like for the purpose of abstract parameters, or have you always been experimenting with both, like I guess like audio visual components as an artist?
I already did experiment with it previously, but for this
Hmm.
project, the music already existed last year.
Hmm.
But I felt it was very fitting, like it was just my latest release of music, and also the title of For New Shores. It really felt fitting to the overall project, and creating something completely new to me, also as a developer, as an artist. But also, I think the LUKSO blockchain offers a new frontier within the whole crypto Web3 ecosystem. So it just really felt like, in some way, it felt very much aligned, and that's why I went with it.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I'd love to know about, like, if we could dive a little bit more into the visual component of your release, and yeah, like I guess what is like the meaning or the message that you were trying to convey with your art here?
Um, yeah, so the original artwork, it's down here. It's this one.
Yeah.
This is the original cover art, where, I mean, usually with art, I feel like it's also like I'd like it to be open for interpretation, and
Hmm.
but what I felt behind it was this opening of new doors from like an inner perspective, where sometimes we might feel closed off to certain views or perspectives in the world. We dislike this or we really like that, and um, how I feel about it is, yeah, to keep an open mind and also to keep some doors open, also in relationships and for oneself and in the personal relationships to new perspectives. So yeah, that's what I feel is when we keep these doors open, we can take off for new shores and actually, yeah, expand our horizons. And
Oh, that's
yeah,
that's amazing. And okay, so let's go back up to your universal profile. I want to just make sure that everyone knows where to follow you. Okay, perfect. And is your mini app is deployed
on testnet
right
for now,
now
yes.
on
So over
testnet for
here on
now? Hmm.
Universal Everything here on testnet, as you can see, and it's Studio Luftbrücke minus test. It's kind of my yeah, development studio that I also that kind of got birthed as part of this project. I had this in mind already for quite some time. But yeah, you can test it, you can play around with it. Basically, at the moment, you just need to go ahead and mint the access token on the universal page testnet.
Hmm.
But yeah, everyone can get their hands at it already now. Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, I'm loving to see like not only did we get like an amazing artwork out of this, but also I know mini apps are fairly new to Luxo, so we love to see some awesome use cases like this uh, coming out. But I guess for your mini app, what are your next steps in development?
Yes. So here, really the next thing I want to get my hands on is upgrading it to LSP8. But for
Mhm.
that also I need to dig deeper into smart contract development. So since it's very new, it's hard for me to estimate how much effort it will be. But ultimately, yeah, this is really the next step, because this was also the original intention for this app, where once you have the access, or once you have minted the access, you can create your own, like you can put your image on chain. Like at the moment, you can only upload the image, you can interact with it in this 3D space, and you could screen record it, for example, and then
Mhm.
have an animation to share on your own socials. But what I would love to do is really make use of the LSP8, so you could create an URL that is shareable with all the data, like the image data and the shader settings integrated into it.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing. As for, we've got your universal profile, and we've also got your amazing mini app um, up here. But how else can folks find you on maybe what is your like Twitter or Instagram, your preferred other
Yeah,
social that?
it's Concord everywhere. This
Oh,
written like this, Concord everywhere, Instagram, Spotify, wherever you go. The only place on Twitter, it's Concord Music. Concord was already
awesome.
made. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Concord, and for sharing that. Really, really excited to see what comes next out of this, and uh, especially for the mini app is really, really dope. I'm excited for that too.
Cool, great to hear, and thanks for having me.
All right, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and get you off the stage. All right. Up next, we've got Jan. I'm going to go ahead and bring Jan on stage.
Hey,
How's it
Annalisa.
going?
Pretty good yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Uh, so to kick things off, I mean, yeah. Well, we got your name, but could you tell us a little bit more about your background as an artist and where you're from, and we could
Sure
jump
thing.
right back into the work.
Sure thing. So you got the second
Yeah.
German in a row. I'm based in Frankfurt right now. I'm
Oh,
also a
nice.
sound artist, and yeah, I've been experimenting with kind of physical installations. And yeah, in general, I'm very interested in understanding like how I can develop sound from math or from code. This is something that really drives me. And
Hmm.
so some of the past works I've done, I was always working with kind of like generative ideas and trying to figure out how to also use blockchain technology to create something unique. So I was very fascinated, coming from the early age of computer art, like from the 60s, being very interested in like when they started, with graph papers and like these very rudimentary kind of sets of rules to create artwork. So to understand like how could you use that spirit but transpose it and use the latest technology. So that's how I first got into the whole kind of generative art on the blockchain. So experimenting on Tezos a lot, on the FX Hash platform.
Nice.
I think that was really inspiring. And once I heard about LUKSO and the idea of the universal profile, that got the gears spinning. So the project I've developed for this campaign is called Memory Traces. And I wanted to use the opportunity to learn more about how to query the blockchain, how to, get data, sonify data, fine-tune an algorithm. I would say that's really the main artistic kind of achievement, was getting numbers and then finding ways how to transform them into sound or into like a cohesive piece. And yeah, this was really
Oh,
exciting
wow.
to have the opportunity. And so Memory Traces, the title, as it suggested, kind of deals with the immaterial experiences and memories that we kind of collect along the way. And my goal was to get collectibles associated with a specific universal profile and create kind of like like this sonic tapestry out of it. So I'm currently
Oh,
using the
wow.
last 16 collectibles, and I'm taking the contract hash and I'm sonifying this, and I'm kind of using different aspects of the hash and assigning it to different kind of parameters within the musical sequence. So it's kind of an interesting experience for me, because when I was developing the algorithm, I really had to kind of test it with many different accounts, and to see like if I change this parameter of the let's say account, it changes the oscillators kind of waveform, or the duration of the sound. So it was interesting. After a while, I could actually tell, okay, this sonic signature belongs to this account. So it
Oh,
was,
wow.
and yeah, it really proved my point that by taking something very abstract as contract hashes, or like a wallet ID, and then assigning different musical or sonic parameters to it, after a while you develop a sense for it. So this was something I'm really happy with how it turns out.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, how was that built? Or what tools did you use to create this? And do you have an example that
Hmm.
we could see? Yeah,
Well,
let's bring this on stage. I've that's really
yeah,
cool too.
maybe before we talk too much, I'm just gonna share one screen with you, and I
Yeah,
can kind of show you how it looks and sounds in action.
cool.
So
I'll make sure that I can, oh, here we go. Add to stage. All right. And then I will do a little cinema layout.
cool. It's muted at the moment, so I'm gonna unmute it in a second when you have it all set up.
Yep, I think we're good to go.
Cool. So this is the staging area. This is kind of like the full page view that I used during the coding. And essentially what you see here, which is not part of the final product, is this little address box in the top left corner, plus the button that triggers the process. And it takes about 20 seconds, where it queries the LUKSO blockchain for the UP address. Then it gets all the assets associated with it. And then takes up to the last 16 collectibles associated with that particular account. So first of all, let me unmute it, and you're going to hear hopefully like a low drone. Do you hear anything?
Let's see, mute screen. There we go. Yep.
Kind of bar here that shows you where we are right now. Currently, it's querying the assets. All right, and now when I activate, this is something that's mandatory when you use web audio. You need to have a user interaction. But once I start this, you will actually get to hear all 16 assets associated with this particular wallet. just interrupting this, I think you get an idea, right? There's a repeating motif there.
Wow.
And one thing to mention is this is all rendered in real time. So I basically programmed a synthesizer that lives in the Chrome browser. So when you trigger it, it processes the data in real time. It queries the blockchain, and then based on this data, it creates the synthesizer. It's like a modular synthesizer. And
Wow.
yeah, that's why it was very, very time consuming because I had to build everything from scratch. And it's
Oh my goodness.
interesting because some aspects of this are based also on the wallet ID itself. So some of the, once you maybe acquire new collectibles, this will constantly change and be updated based on the situation on the blockchain. But there's also certain aspects about this that are kind of fixed to your wallet. So there's kind of like a personality that is stable and that is unchanged, but there's also aspects of this that's constantly in flux. So this is something I was very interested in, to build this kind of system that has something like a personality. There's aspects of us that are kind of our core foundation, our values, but then there's also things that change, and this kind of hazy, unreliable kind of aspect of memories. This is really, I'm quite happy how this came out in the visual aspect as well.
Wow.
I thought there's a little fun, because so you also get to see how different all the different algorithms are, or how the algorithm interprets the data. Let's just quite quickly do another one with a different address, right? Let me quickly reload this.
Oh my gosh. While I was off camera, I was like just stunned. That's amazing. I would love to see this as a mini app too. I mean, and I'm excited to see how this develops. But yeah, let's do another one.
Cool. Let me
Let's do Fabian's.
Yeah, actually, I just got his UP, so this is going to be fun.
That's sweet.
And as you said, also, like for me, the cool aspect about this is that it's going to live on the grid. So you just clone it from my grid. It's free of charge, and it's associated with your profile. So in the end, it will only kind of display what you have. Basically, it will only display what is associated with your wallet and with your collectibles. If I'm right, this should be Fabian's UP. So let's give this a whirl.
Okay. Here, let me make sure.
You can already see the gradient is different.
Oh wait, we don't have your screen up. Can you?
No? Hold on 1 second.
Oh, here we go.
You got it?
Let me.
I think it's sharing. 1 second, yeah.
Okay. Let's take a second.
Go. Yeah, it's a bit much for one laptop, maybe.
That's all good. I know he's probably got a lot. I think you might need to or present again or present.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do that. Yeah, screen. And it's all a bit slow over here right now.
No worries. I'm curious about how long did this take you to build?
I mean, from the first idea, there was a lot of kind of conceptual iterations at first. At first, I was actually thinking to build a physical box that you would carry around, and then based on the interactions and kind of the movement and so on, it would kind of write data that would then be sonified. But then in the end, I decided to have something that everybody could have. So I didn't want to make it something mintable, but that you can just copy and then just use on your own grid as a mini app. I really like this idea. So then the first kind of, it's always challenging to find like a look and feel in terms of the sound, in terms of the visuals that kind of feel like a coherent world. And yeah, I would say all in all, maybe I was working 3 months on this.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's a lot of, as I said, it's all written from scratch, like all the algorithms, all the kind of all the synthesizer engines. And of course, I try to, when I work on something like this, I try to, also make it reusable. So it's all modular and I can pull this up for future projects as well. And kind of, let's say the oscillator shapes, I can use that for another project, or I just wrote a really cool phaser and like a really cool reverb and so on. So this is all kind of, I have this in the back pocket now.
Oh, that's awesome.
So let me just try once more if the computer is still not out of breath. Yeah, but it seems it's not very promising.
My computer every day.
Yeah. It's just a bit much because it processes all the data in real time, and then we share the screen and do the teleconference.
And then
you can only. No, I think we have to leave it at that first. It's a shame. I already kind of got a idea of Fabian's UP sounds like, but we have to do this a separate time, I guess.
Yes, we will. Or yes, we'll get a good recording of it another time. But yeah, I mean, as far as this goes, what are your next plans for development? I mean, I would love to be able to experience this or see this as like a live tool.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I mean, I already had this idea. I got in touch with Refraction, to maybe do recordings of this so that we can also do like a little compilation first of all. And I like the idea to maybe have it, spatially kind of like in one arrangement somehow, almost like a, like a triptych or something like this, where you have certain maybe matching colorways. And again, this is all based on the wallet. So it would be interesting to kind of collect these different specimens and then arrange them in a way that they make sense from a visual and standpoint, because they could all play together, if they have the right, there's like a certain tonalities associated with the wallets. And so if you match the right wallets, it would really be like kind of like an improvisation between these different kind of versions of memory traces,
Yeah, I mean, we've got I'll be connecting with all of you after this, but we do have Berlin Blockchain Week coming up, and I would love to see these works on display, and yeah, would love to connect because we've got some cool things planned. So I'm really excited to see how this develops, but it's already I'm stunned. I'm glad the screen was off because I was just like my face was in my computer.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much, Annalisa.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much. And how can we follow you? I know we've got your universal profile here. I'll be linking everybody after this too, by the way, for those listening. But what's your like a Twitter handle or preferred social?
I don't do socials much. So the best way really is like my homepage, janoverhennig.com. I try to kind of post my work there. And again, on Universal Profile, just keep an eye on there. There's kind of already a placeholder in the bottom left corner. So eventually when this goes live, you just clone it to your profile and you can just enjoy your memory traces.
Yes, awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing memory traces. And
Appreciate
we'll
it.
see you. Yeah, hope to see you at in Berlin then.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Take care.
Yes. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. That was really, really cool. I'm really excited about this stream now, but I'm going to go ahead and bring up our next guest. It is Sunshine Vendetta. Let me make sure that we're formatted correctly. How's it going?
Hey, how are you? All good.
I'm good. Where are you calling in from?
I'm from Mexico right now, so I wasn't like near my computer, but I was able to connect via remote, so I can show you all the stuff about the piece and how it was done, etc. So I'm so excited to be up in here and to share the work that it was done in this experimental. I feel like it was like experimental space or time space. I don't know, something like that. Because I already saw all the works from the other artists, and they're so amazing too. So I feel like everybody was pushing on into experimental stuff into this project.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I mean, before we get to the work, can you tell? Yeah, well, so I know you're calling it from Mexico, but yeah, tell me a little bit more about, I guess, yourself as an artist, and then we can share what you created for abstract parameters.
Yeah, well, I started as a music producer. I've been
Oh, wow.
producing electronic music for a couple of years, well, like 10 years almost right now. But I also have been involved into graphic design, video editing, all kinds of stuff. I just love creating stuff from everything. I'm also a developer. I'm a developer in the blockchain space. Also
Nice.
experimenting with artificial intelligence, and right now, which was the main the foundation of this piece was on quantum computer because IBM just opened these kind of libraries and places where you can experiment using real quantum equipment with Python and just be connected to their system and be able to experiment and create simulations and everything. So I was like, okay, so what if we plug these quantum computers into some way to create some experimental work into visual and audio, and that's what I did for this program.
Okay, awesome. And I would love to see it. And what was your piece called for this project?
Oh, it was Quantum. Yeah, I
Oh,
can share
quantum.
the
Okay.
screen so I
Oh,
can walk
okay.
through the on what I was doing and how it was done and everything. So
Yeah, absolutely. And I see your PC. It says device is not
yeah,
connecting. Oh, cool.
oh, it's connecting right now.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's sharing right now.
Okay, let's see. Yep, I can add it to the stage as soon as boom. All right, let's see it. Yep, you're sharing
Can you
now.
see it right? Yeah,
Yes.
awesome. So this was the piece actually. This was where I imported the functions using all the quantum circuits and all that weird stuff that was needed to generate the piece, and also creating some pieces of audio over here. So this piece of code is not that so long. Actually, it was pretty straight up on what it was generating and extracting all the data. All the data was were also saved as a JSON file, which was over here. And this JSON file has like a lot of inputs over here, like numbers and strings and everything. And all these numbers and all these hashes that were generated were actually creating finally this final piece, which was importing all these numbers and is taking every number to generate a different visual every time. So the final piece was actually intended to be as a HTML file, but I wasn't able to mint that into LUKSO Universal. But it was like the final piece. Every time
Oh,
it
wow.
gets reloaded, it changes all the time, and the colors and the animation and some kind of aspects that you can see on the background is in constant change. Actually, you can leave the piece like going on all the time, and every time is going to change all the time, all the time, all the time.
Oh,
So it
wow.
actually also rendered an audio. I was only just able to record some of this piece for the video on the Universal page, but actually
Mhm.
it was already actually it's already sold out, which is also great. Actually, I'm super happy with the space on the Luxo because I already, since the program started to now, I already have dropped 3 collections and I have been receiving amazing response from the community in Luxo. So I'm thinking that I will be totally generating more experimental stuff and bringing more art to the Lexo community and the
Yeah.
blockchain. Also experimenting maybe into mini apps or developing something special to that. But pretty much this is like the piece. The piece is always changing. It's in constant
Wow.
change. It's also is using from the JSON data. Is using all the time in real time. numbers and stuff to create all these visuals in real time. So the main idea is like in quantum states, you have like different realities for putting this into a basic idea that is happening
Hmm.
at the same time. So that was the main core idea about this, that the viewer or the collector can see the piece, but never is going to see twice the same effect. It's always a minimal but perceivable
Wow.
change in the piece all the time. Like this can be rendered like I have put this piece like for hours in at home, and it's always
Yeah.
changing. It's always changing. Sometimes it gets pink. Sometimes you get it gets like a cross in the middle, something like that. Also, so it's very interesting because the code, what it does is interacting in real time with the values. So the values are the things that is changing the parameters all the time.
Yeah. And then so for, I mean, in terms of like styling these different parameters, what was your vision here? And I guess what, like, did you come into any like roadblocks or any issues while just generating this like final ever-changing piece? Or did you have like
Uh,
a vision in mind?
Kinda.
Yeah.
Kinda yes. Well, obviously into the learning step into the quantum stuff, like using the Qiskit library from IBM to generate all this
Mhm.
stuff, and it was like kind of more like the roadblock was like how can translate this code of this abstraction of data into something that can be seen. So that was the main core roadblock that I got jumping to or bumping into, sorry, into the
Yeah.
development of this piece. But to be
Awesome.
honest, I tried to keep this as experimental as it gets, and it was like one the one time the core idea was like made, I didn't I didn't do so much changes. It was like, okay, what if I change this parameter to this, to this, to this, and I just leave it like that. And it was more like what is going to be seen is going to be seen, and pretty much not looking at some kind of putting all this in a box because actually I feel like the idea per se is pretty raw and experimental. So why
Yeah.
looking to put this into some kind of walkthrough or pathway or something specific.
Yeah.
So, but I'm pretty happy with the product. I feel like it looks cool. Something like maybe I could see in a rave or music festival or something like that. It's
Yeah.
also my point of view, like something that I can enjoy in these spaces too.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. And I just checked my universal profile. I believe I collected the first one. Uh,
Oh yeah.
so yeah, that was me.
Oh, okay. So it's awesome because I need to send you this actually because I was trying to
Yeah.
connect with the collector, but I couldn't find the collector and tried to found into some of the mini apps on the mini apps, but I couldn't. Oh, so amazing! Thank you for collecting this. I will send you the full piece because you will actually just only got the video. The video was like
Yeah.
here in the drop. So I need to send you
Yeah.
this because it's like the real stuff. So oh no no
Yeah.
no 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 no, over here.
Yeah. Sunshine Venom.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like this one, right?
Oh no, I have the other one that
Oh,
I
like
don't
the
know who
quantum
collected that one.
weights.
I have
Yeah, yeah,
day
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
The quantum gates. Yeah, the quantum gate was another idea. These were like using more touch designer. It was using the same principle, but I used touch designer to create a final render, and actually we having this is live, which is the last one. These are 100 pieces, actually using like the
Yeah.
kind of the same idea, but the original one was the first one that I showed. So pretty much,
Yeah.
yeah. And thank you so much for collecting my work.
Yeah.
It's really
Awesome.
really really important for me to have this because
Yeah.
actually these are like I I I have the released on-chain works in another blockchains and stuff, but never like this stuff. Like
Yeah.
this stuff is like pretty unique for the Luxo, and it was like so experimental, and I like it that the people are showing like really interesting into this artwork. So
Yeah, I know we've got a very strong community, and especially we value art and creativity here. So it's great to see these like new pieces on Luxo. I want to know, so since you have released art on different blockchains, I guess what is your, or how does your experience releasing on like LSP8 or LSP7 on Luxo different? And yeah, how is that experience different for you?
I like it that the thing that you can do this gasless thing. It was
Hmm.
kind of difficult at the first time because you get like overwhelmed because it's a mix of I think like the old school old school when you have to generate your own JSON data and that kind of stuff also gives you so much opportunity to also play with some stuff and use that in your artwork actually is against what the other platforms are doing, which pretty much now is like uploading a photo or a video like Instagram, which kind of like
Hmm.
what I dislike at the same time, because I feel like for this kind of works, it's better to have the full control on on the data that you are uploading and you are developing and what you're releasing. And I like it so much. Like afterwards, I get like I click it with the pathway. It was really easy to rinse and repeat, and I like it
Yeah.
that of the on the standard. Actually, it's not that difficult if you're coming from 7 to anyone or the 1155. It's like the same
Hmm.
metadata, so you just only have to do minor changes in the way to have you uploaded things into the universal page. But it's pretty much like yeah, like you have
Yeah.
freedom to do this.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing. And so I assume we could follow you everywhere as Sunshine Vendetta uh, on
Yeah, pretty
Universal
much
Profile as
everywhere.
well. Okay,
Yeah, my
perfect.
universal profile is over here. No, universal everything. No. Oh, I changed it. It's because I'm
There you are.
from yeah,
I see you.
it's over here. Yeah, Sunshine Meneta. I'm all pretty much on all social media, Twitter, X. Well, X is the same. Threads, Instagram, SoundCloud, Spotify, Lens, Warpcast, everywhere like Sunshine Meneta.
Yes, amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing, and I'm excited to catch some more of your drops on Universal Page too, and especially as these evolve.
Thank you so much, and thanks for the opportunity. And I'm glad to be part of this amazing program.
So thank you. All right. Well, we are going to move on. I'm going to go ahead and get you off stage. Take care. Oh, there you go. All right. All of these have been amazing so far. I know I've initially told all the artists like you only have 5 minutes, but I mean I'm enjoying. I mean for all the time and the effort that has been put into these works, I mean you deserve all the time in the world. But so we're gonna move on, and we've got Craig up next. I'll go ahead and bring Craig up on stage. How's it going?
Good. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Where are you calling in from?
So I'm in Berlin as well.
Everyone's in Berlin. I will be there next
Berlin.
month. I'm excited.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'm originally from the UK, from Nottingham.
Okay, oh, amazing. So yeah, tell us about a little bit about your background as an artist, or yeah, what mediums or forms you like to experiment
So
with, and
I come from more like a design practice. I have a design
hmm
practice, and I work mostly in like objects, sculptures, and spaces.
hmm
Um, So yeah, coming from more like physical objects and production and that sort of thing. But with a lot of my work, especially the more like spatial work that I do, I work with kind of like Web3. I would do actually scenography with Refraction, so all their
oh,
exhibition
cool.
design. So that was kind of like my major entrance into the Web3 space.
Hmm.
Um, and I started to like dive into that a lot more. But yeah, I guess in my work and my processes, the output's always physical. But there's often as well, like, of course, in the design side, like a digital part to it, which is often never seen as the output. So doing something like this was a really nice opportunity to be able to combine those two. My final piece was a phygital work. So it's nice to be able to create a physical object and then again show elements of that process which is used to create the actual physical piece and like expand on that as well.
Yeah, amazing. So before we show your piece, can you tell us? I like this kind of like tell and then show thing that we've got going on. But yeah, can you tell us like about what inspired your piece and yeah, and then like your creative creative process, and then we can we'll do the big reveal.
For sure. So I was really thinking about the kind of title of the grant and the sort of cultural curatorial statement behind it, abstracted parameters, and it got me thinking a lot about like what I can do with this, where I want to go, and I saw it as an interesting opportunity to like really kind of extract my own parameters of my own practice and how I can use sort of digital technologies and blockchain technology to sort of expand that in a different way. So the physical piece itself is like a continuation of like ongoing experiments, which I've done in materiality and production processes, which stem from kind of like lots of like research, mostly into again production processes, observations of like natural and scientific phenomena, finding ways to kind of like mimic that and develop that in my own way. And sort of create outputs that sort of explore our kind of like shared relationships with physical objects and also spaces and kind of how we see and view the world through these kind of shared objects.
Yes, amazing. And I mean, let's see it.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll start by showing the actual physical object. Here we go. I'm just going to share my entire screen if that works.
Yeah,
so I can flick between.
Perfect.
Cool.
Okay, let me make sure I can. Boom. There. I just saw this on Instagram. I actually just reposted this from LUKSO's Instagram.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Yeah, this is really cool.
Thank you. Yeah. So this is the physical piece. So this is a milled block of aluminium combined with sort of cast jasmonite, which is like a acrylic polymer plaster of Paris kind of mix. And it's kind of the technique is something I've developed over a period of time. This kind of foamy, bubbly, amorphic shape. So I combined that with this milled aluminium. And this is kind of a bit more like akin to some of my usual sculptures and works. So there's sort of two photos of that.
Oh, wow.
And then what I did with this, I took this and I 3D scanned it using photogrammetry to create a digital version, which I can show the first kind of version here, which was through this, I was able to create a 3D digital version of it. And going back to the thinking how I can use this project as a way to like abstract my usual parameters of my work and expand that. So like my work is like object based and spaces, like interior spaces, but a kind of long standing kind of goal is to one day move also into architecture and explore that realm.
Yeah.
So I wanted to use this opportunity to kind of like dive into that a little bit. So that would take to the physical piece, the digital piece. So I'm going to play it and explain as it goes round and round. So taking that 3D model, I wanted to create a piece of architecture. So this like monolithic structure set in this desert landscape. And again, then as well, I wanted to share let me loop that for everyone. Here we go. And I also wanted to like dive into what that could internally look like as well. So the form flipped between these three: the 3D version of the physical piece, the imagined architectural building, and they get into this kind of like internal wireframe, seeing the internal structure, building, rooms and caverns within.
Wow, that's beautiful. Have you, I mean, have you created similar pieces like this before, or have you worked with like aluminum and?
Yes, yeah. So the aluminium and the kind of amorphic foam
Mhm.
are kind of like materials that I work with a lot, and I've developed certain techniques and narratives through them. So
Mhm.
it was nice. I mean, this particular one is quite abstract as well, which is nice to be able to like really, you know, because I have this like design-based practice, and there's often that element of functionality in my work. So it was nice in this case to be able to create something a bit more sculptural, which I could then take on. And then again, I guess it's then bringing it back to that functionality by taking this very sculptural piece and then putting it in the context of architecture. So it's sort of gone full circle. And a lot of my work, again, plays with that, this like fine balance between like art and design, and where the two cross over.
Wow. I know. I'm looking at it now on Universal Everything. Oh, it's already been. Has it already been collected?
There's
want
a
this.
few available. I think I know.
Yeah.
I sent a few out. I think you can collect. I think it's still available.
Amazing. Do you have your Universal profile handy so we can share it
Yeah.
on the? Yeah, because I.
Is it? Yeah. Is this profile? Is this universal? Yeah, this is the profile, right? Yeah.
Yes. Oh, perfect. And then we've got your creation right there.
Yeah, and there it is. And there's a few other pieces, and I still need to add some more about this to the grid, which would be great to do. And again, it's been really nice, like working with LUKSO and universal everything, the universal profile. It's really cool how it's like an opportunity that like you know, creators can dive a bit more into their practice and like explain things a bit more, whereas in some other you know, other sites and blockchains and stuff, when you mint your work, you kind of just put it out there and there's not really much opportunity to kind of explain and talk about it. So I think that's really cool about the universal profile. You can really dive into it and like share things off and talk more about your way of thinking. So I think that's really important as a creative. Like that's where your work gets depth, and that's where people start to connect with it more, when they can really understand your way of thinking and they can see your other works. And I think that speaks to people a lot more than just seeing a single artwork.
Just like, yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I'm or I guess ever since being or working with LUKSO, I've been really into seeing there's like a lot of like phygital, or like quite a handful of phygital artists that are now coming onto LUKSO. So I'm really excited that that you've come on board, and I hope to see so many. So yes, some more pieces being added to your universal profile.
Yeah, definitely.
As your portfolio.
It's a really nice platform to work on. I look forward to expanding more into this space.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess as for any like future works or future pieces, do you have anything else that you're working on? That
yeah, I've got a series of like sculptural works as well, which I'll be showing at an open studio in Berlin
perfect.
in July, date to be confirmed, and showing a few of the events throughout the year. But I guess, yeah, check out my Instagram, my name, Craig Barrow. That's always the best place to see updates and that. And hopefully maybe showing the some of these pieces with LUKSO for Berlin Blockchain Week in next month.
You will. Yes, we will. I didn't realize that there's so many artists are based in Berlin, and so yeah, we've got some we've got a couple events that are lined up, and especially working on one that's, I guess I'm kind of giving some alpha here, but I'm working on one that is showcase of artists, and definitely want to bring anyone from this program on board, and yeah, have your work displayed at LUKSO Hub. So that's
Amazing.
I'm really excited for this.
Hope I didn't early announce there. I hope I didn't jump the gun or anything.
No, I'm jumping the gun. We're
Great.
making it happen. But
Awesome.
amazing. Well, thank you so much, Craig, for sharing. Uh, and sorry, I was just reading a quick comment. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing. It looks like I'm on your Universal page now. I want to see what else you've worked on for Miami Art Week, but I'll do that on my own time. But
Great.
I appreciate it, and we'll definitely meet you in Berlin.
Yes, for sure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. All right, thank you. Have a good
Bye.
day.
See you.
Bye. All right, we have up next Happy Snacks. I'm gonna go ahead and bring you up on stage.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Hi. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. Hi.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very excited to be chatting with you. I think just through this program, I know that you've been so actively on Twitter, on Instagram, and sharing your work and sharing your process. So I feel like I know you already. I'm pretty sure I already follow you. So it's like I'm meeting a friend. But why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and I guess what forms of art you like to explore, and then we'll go into your work.
All right. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, hi everyone. I'm Happy Snacks. I'm from Tijuana, Mexico, and well, I'm mainly. I don't like to call myself a glitch artist, even though my work mainly focuses on the glitch aesthetics and psychedelic aesthetics. But I like to explore like different mediums of art. But yeah, I pretty much create video artworks using analog tools with like glitch machines and all video mixers. And I also create physical works that I later use augmented reality to kind of like link those video works and those physical pieces together. And I've been wanting to, I've been wanting to, continue or grow this project for a bit now. I haven't been able to find a proper place. I have explored different like places in the blockchain like Object and OpenSea, Lens protocol. I'm on all that, but I'm still kind of like testing for the best way for me to share the art in this way. I also like to my main focus honestly, like my main goal is to kind of like share the experiences that I go through, through life as I grow, my imaginations and those insights that I like go picking, as I go through life. And I find that analog glitch is like a really good tool to, or for me at least, to kind of like explore that, as it's really tied up. And that's what I like this project. Is really tied to the abstraction part of life. So sometimes, like, when I'm creating stuff, some glitch that comes out, like this, it can be like this abstract color or these abstract shapes, like it really resonates to what I'm kind of like feeling in that moment and looking to share. And so that's kind of like my link, or the link of my work to abstraction. And yeah, I like to share that, with these pieces that I have here. I also do performances, like in real life performances and exhibitions, so that people can know a little bit more about the work and go through these kind of like experiences. The performances are a little bit more like abstract itself. It's just like glitch visuals, like, with music for you to kind of like take on an inner journey. But mainly all of my work looks for that, or intends to that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I know. I'm in Los Angeles. I'm not too far. I'd love to see your work live one day.
Oh,
That'd be really
that
cool.
would be great. I will have
Yeah.
I will have something in San Diego pretty soon. So if you guys, I will be posting there. So if any folks from California want to join in, yeah. And
yeah, I'm the only Californian on this team, but
Woo!
I'll try and make my way up there. Amazing. So, so now I have your Universal profile open, but I know that you wanted to show you also have a phygital piece. Let's talk about your artwork and the inspiration behind this as it like pertains to abstract parameters. Oh, it's right behind you.
Yeah, it's right. No, and yeah, thank you. I'm gonna show it in a little bit of how it looks with the augmented reality. But for this project, what I wanted to explore, it really began with the concept, and I really wanted to explore courage as a feeling, as a concept, but like as an internal feeling that we all have and that we can all like channel in crucial moments, or like at any moment. So I was going through a really down period, and this work is really tied up to my spiritual practice, because I like to chant a mantra. It's called Namyo Horenge Kyo, and while I was chanting that mantra, I kind of like started picturing this feeling inside me, but it kind of like looked like in my head, right, like an orb morphing, which was kind of like filling me up, which is like more power, more like strength to kind of like face what I was facing, right? So I wanted to kind of like find a way to represent that feeling, but also make it like that's what it means to me, but also make it kind of like so everybody can look at it and find their own meaning, right? And I usually work, like talking about the process, I usually work with taken media like pictures or videos, and I also like to incorporate AI. But this is the first time that I went ahead and do it like all generative, and I created using Touch Designer, which I have the computer right here, because I use it. I'm doing like I'm using two computers, right? But it's a really basic network. It really it's just for the orb, or to get the blob done, and it's just a sphere with some noise and some feedback. I like to work with feedback a lot to kind of like give it the color and the morphing in the way that I want it. And then once I had that network, I plug that into my analog machines, and I play around with it for quite a lot, honestly, which is the abstraction part of my process. Even though I have like an outcome in my mind, I cannot really I can control it, but it's those things have a life of their own. So and so
that's amazing.
Well, and after that, like after I came out with the end result, I just like did a little bit of post processing. I use a technique that is called rescan, where I record the screen of my TV, because I have these like displaying on a CRT TV for the textures and the of the looks.
I like that. I've seen that before.
Yeah, no, and it's like honestly, even it's completely different if you see it like in real life. Even though like you get it from the screen directly, like you're recording and stuff, like it's a whole experience watching it on the screen. But then after that, I used an app called Artvive. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's the app that I used to connect it with the augmented reality. So once I had the physical piece done, I just go ahead and post everything on the app, or link it through the app, and you can use a tablet or you can use a phone. I'm gonna show you guys how it looks now. And pretty much just, see if you can see it there. Hold on. You just point it at the.
Oh wow.
At the picture, and then it's just like
that is cool.
You can get close, or you can go far, and the final outcome for me, like I know you guys can see like the glitches going on the back. That for me represents kind of like the uncertainty and how life can be like unpredictable. And then you have like the orb, like the courage orb, which is kind of like steady, right, and like super calm, and just kind of like for me represents that. Like sometimes like life can be like you can be going against the flow, but if you have the courage for that growth, if you have the courage to go through that situation, like you're gonna be like like not disturbed by any situation, right? And yeah, so that's pretty much the final work. If you mint this on the page, you will get the physical work up to have it displayed.
Okay, amazing. I know I see it up here on Universal Profiles. Let me go ahead and I just want to make sure that we have it up. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, or unless you have it open. But that's amazing. I did see. I'm not sure what you said the name of the app was that you were using to make it or to like create that AR experience. What was the name of, or yeah, what was that tool that you used? I think I've had friends that have experience with this, but I haven't seen it like. I mean, I guess every work is different, but that was really cool.
It's called, yeah. There are many different apps, kind of like for the augmented reality world, but the one that I use is called Art. I don't know. I really don't know how to pronounce it. It's Artvive or Artvive. But if you download it to the phone, it can be on an Android or an iPhone, and pretty much you just open the camera, and then you need to have internet connection though, but you can display it.
Wow. I like that. I like the glitching of it too.
Thank you. It was honestly, it was really hard for me to come out with the final outcome because I like a lot of during the process there's a lot of things that come out, but I really think that this represents what I was aiming for at the end, and it's also I didn't want it to be so like like exactly what it's on the network of Touch Designer and the glitch. So I wanted to kind of like switch it up a little bit, and it also kind of like looks like fun. So.
That is awesome.
Thank you.
I love it. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and just quickly show this on Universal Everything, and then we can find you everywhere as Happy X Snacks, correct?
Yes, the X is actually silent on the name. It's always
Happy Snacks. I know.
Yeah.
I had to include it just so we know to spell it out. But yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Perfect. I know. I think it's or I love that you envision this like in meditation and in like or starting with the orb. So I loved that.
Thank you.
Excellent work.
And honestly, I hope that one day, I'm wearing glasses right now. I hope that one day we're all gonna have like these type of glasses, and you can see like these augmented reality pieces, like without having to pull out your phone. It will be more like integrated with real life. So that's kind of why I like this type of work.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that would be really cool. I love that, and I like your glasses too. They should those should be the prototype. Those should be the prototype for augmented reality art. I'd wear those.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Happy Snacks, and yeah, definitely keep us posted when you have any for any upcoming shows. I know San Diego is a good drive in traffic, but I make my way out there every once in a while.
All right. Cool. Thank you.
All right.
4 hours in the freeway.
All right. Thank you. Good. Absolutely. All right. Have a good one. All right. All right. And I think we might have lost Meryl, but we have one more artist that is currently here. I'm going to go ahead and bring up Vintage Mozart on stage. Also, after the stream, I'll be sharing everyone's Universal profile, especially for those that weren't able to make it into the stream. There's just, I think it's about like 13 artists total that we had for this program. And I mean, I'm loving to see how every single piece is different and just very well intentional and fits to the theme. But that being said, let me go ahead and bring up Vintage Mozart on stage. How's it going? Oh wait, you're on mute.
Oh, hey, how you doing? Sorry, I was literally enjoying like listening to everyone. Because I actually feel weird coming up to talk because I was like, wow, I'm like a different artist to like everyone kind of like speaking.
But it's cool. I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see what you
like
worked on.
Yeah, going last was kind of like I came here just as like a viewer, and then I didn't expect to like come up, and I was like thinking like, hey, maybe I should talk about this because I saw some people had mentioned my piece and giving like context. But sorry to just jump into the conversation. Thank you everyone who came like before. I enjoyed like listening. I feel like I'm a learner before anything else, and I go into Vintage Mozart. I'm from Harare, Zimbabwe, and currently based in the United Kingdom. I would say I'm exploring the world. So the piece I'm about to talk about is just kind of like linked to my culture, my heritage, where I'm from, and mainly about like my practice as an artist coming from like a designer's perspective. The interesting thing about this was I remember when I was talking with like Refraction, I've always wanted to do something with Refraction, but it never ever came into fruition because the first time I ever had an event, I was always like based in Africa. I managed to go to a show the first time I went to the United States, and like this is the first thing that we're doing together, like myself as Vintage Mozart. So it's a kind of like a surreal thing as well, like kind of being back as well in Web3 because I hadn't released work in quite a little bit of time. So I'm busy rambling and mumbling on. I don't have
No, I love this story.
So I can't like share. So this is a little bit weird because I'm using like
okay. Let me see. Yeah. Do you want to? Do you have a link or I could?
Yeah, I can share my Universal profile link because like everything is. Could I share it in the chat?
Yeah, I think there's like the private chat. Okay, let me see. Awesome. I'll go ahead and pull that up for you.
I'm doing something a little bit different because I did 2 pieces, kind of like I wanted the process of someone having like a 1-of-1 and some people having additions. So even the number of additions to the kind of like the pieces, I believe the pieces are Die and Be a Hero or Live Long Enough to See Yourself Become a Villain. I know it's a very long title.
Yeah.
And the other one was
I saw this. This is really cool.
Yeah, I'm
sorry,
trying to figure if I present it.
Oh, I got it.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, I think here, let me, I did see this, or actually I saw both of these. So are you do you work with like collage style? Is this a phygital, or tell me a little bit more about your style?
Like this is so like my experience is like I would like to call myself a designer all around because that's like my passion. But I started off as an architect when I was a little bit younger, but art has always been like my passion. When I got into Web3, most people knew me for like digital collage work, but it's funny enough, I'm more trained as a formal artist and like a painter. So a few years ago, this is like just before Web3 and before COVID, I like broke my hand. So I had to learn how to use my other hand. And then this was like a sports related injury. And while I was like doing this, it kind of like helped hone my skills. But what makes these 2 pieces special is I like to call myself a digital painter in all the means and all in every single light of it, because I come from a country where electricity isn't easily accessible. So Web3 changed my life, as these are like what I like to call my iPad pieces and my creations of like a physical collage meeting digital. So every single thing that is here starts off. I did a YouTube link of kind of like the creation process of like how these were like images stuck on, put onto like a board, and kind of coming in and drawing through it and like using certain colors because yeah. So should I talk about each piece like individually? Maybe people can get a better understanding because there's a lot.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh my word. So yes, so this is Die and Be a Hero. This is what I'm just gonna call it. And to know about Zimbabwe, we have a very deep colonial history. We only got independence in 1980. So it's a little bit of a dark story because it just talks about like our apartheid past and regime and like who kind of like gets crowned as a good leader, and it's more about who relinquishes power. So if you're familiar with African history, there's a lot of heroes that are here that kind of like changed through the course of time, unfortunately. So like with good ambitions, because we come from a liberating society where everyone wants to be free, but we finally got liberated, but we're still suffering within ourselves. And this piece was touching to me because like there's a lot of people with upside down crowns, and Jean-Michel Basquiat, I do have a Western influence coming from. He as the first art kind of caught my eye when I was a kid, and bringing the full 360 of like, it's so funny how US aid got banned around the world. That was how I actually got to see Jean-Michel Basquiat, through like the small little premises of learning about Western art. Now, a lot of the people that were put in here were kind of like heroes and villains, but misunderstood stories in very different ways. And I could dig into it, but my favorite part is kind of like the Zimbabwe section where your mouse is going. That's just over like Nelson Mandela with our current president. And the reason I put an angelic halo on him is because like it's very, very weird on how he was the person that freed us from our oppressor for 43 years, but then he became our new oppressor. So this is kind of like juggling to it. And then the second piece, it was rigged. I don't know if you can switch.
This one?
Yeah, so this one is like a 1-on-1. And this is kind of like based on my Zimbabwean experience. The 2 gentlemen in the frames were actually the first 2 white men that actually like killed. I'm not gonna like go through the whole racial history, but like they were the first murderers that became martyrs within our society post-independence. So we were still struggling on like a society on deciding what we needed to do. I wasn't born then, but I was born into the change of time. Unfortunately, my dad, my grandfather, and I all had the same presidents throughout our entire history and life, and to the extent where we even like did voting even matter. So even if the common joke in Zimbabwe is that dead people even vote, and this was kind of like what I wanted to bring. So if you go to the far left corner, and if everyone goes to like my Instagram, that's more of like my familiar work and my style of using topography and lines, because I like to interconnect everything. So as much as I am a student, I do have like an artistic style, but this is my first time attempting bringing my drawing skill with my collage skill while adding every single little element, because this is my first, I think this is my 4th year being a full-time artist. So as much as it's a nervous journey, it's always craving for inspiration. And I only got inspired by this piece simply by going back home. I went back home just to see the changes because I've been out of the country for like a decade. And I'm just noticing a few homages to any music fans that are there. The MF Doom homage is kind of like
where is it? Oh, hey, I see it.
Yeah, there's all the Doom masks. They're every single place.
Yeah. Oh,
so
wow.
If people don't know that MF Doom was Zimbabwean, Daniel Dumele, like he's of Zimbabwean origin. So
yeah,
a lot of us had close to like the underground scene, and like that's what vintage Mozart is. It's a super villain, and that's who my hero was. So bringing the whole story from when I was a kid, from my hip hop idol, coming into my artwork and going into like the future of like how I see the mask, because essentially I put on the mask as vintage Mozart, and the human version of myself operates into society. So when we do go vote, are we really voting blindly? That was like the question. Like there's a lot of questions that I was trying to ask for like the audience. And I know someone asked me a week ago, like, what is the key inspiration for both of the pieces, like composition wise? I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I think it's the Guernica by Pablo Picasso.
I'm not sure if that's correct, or I'm not sure.
It was during the Spanish Civil War, like just going through like art history, and those was some of the things of like trying something new, because my practice traditionally, when people know me, I'm a portrait artist. So this is one of the first landscapes that I created. I'm glad some people got to collect editions of the first one, and I created a one of one because I felt this piece was very, very, very special to me, like as a person, and I think it's going to be in the hands of a very special collector. There's a lot of information to like process, and there's a lot of stuff to read. Even in the background, like if you want to pay attention, that's actually my handwriting. So I have written little Easter eggs, and I do want to continue the series going forward. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I've just been rambling.
No. I mean, you're giving a lot of like great detail and information, and I'm also an MF Doom fan, and
great.
So so I was like, I didn't notice this. Yeah, this is awesome, and I didn't know that he was from Zimbabwe, or he was Zimbabwean.
He was, I believe his dad, well, I'm saying believe, his dad and mom come from there. They're Zulu and Ndebele people, kind of like juxtaposing. And I think he moved to England and then the US and then the whole hip hop thing. But his family and the States do a lot for like the people like back home, like art and community. So I was very fortunate that I fell in love with the music, and I was a comic book lover and an artist. So this all kind of like centered up there. Oh, the one vote is one vote. I just noticed that because the bigger question that I'll leave the people that are watching in the audience is one ETH still one ETH, or whatever juxtapose, or whatever algorithm you want to use towards it. Like what is actually fair?
That's beautiful. Okay, so let me zoom back out, and then this one, I was looking because I know we're working on just featuring more artists, but I came across these not knowing that this was part of Refraction, and I just love both of these. So thank you so much for sharing and I guess like what's next for you in terms of like your art? Are you working on any like shows or any other pieces currently, or I guess are you constantly creating, I guess?
I've come to the point in my career where there was like the hyper releasing phase, which was very weird. It was very weird, but it was great for me because I went 10 years without selling a piece. Then I went into overwhelming love and acceptance from like an international audience, because it's very difficult to get into Web3 when you come from a country where crypto is banned. Like I'm the first Zimbabwean on the blockchain, but like there wasn't much competition. But yeah, it's like that small of an ecosystem and a network that even not to just mention like just to mention some of the stuff, like I'm the founder of the African NFT community. I'm pretty sure some people in the audience will know who we were, but the work that we did and the work that I'm continuing is always like the same goal. So currently I think I'm in my residency stage. I've gone through 3 residencies like so far. I really want to learn, and I'm like really traveling. I'm trying to absorb as much as I can, because when you come from a continent of culture, all you can have is inspiration. That's what I can say is about Africa.
Yeah.
Every single country you go to, there's an identity. But the one thing I'm appreciating about living in a Western civilization is getting to see other cultures preserved in like museums and all of those types of things. This is like a new experience for me as a human rather than as an artist, because I get to walk into, should I say, warehouses of stuff, and I get to get inspiration any single day that I want to. So that's what I'm doing for the time being. And I would say, just a shameless plug, working on zines. That's a little bit of an odd one, but I run a digital zine called 16 by 9, and we've been doing it for like a year and a half, just like promoting artists. So would you mind if I share it to you? I can just share you the link.
No, yeah, I'll pull it up.
So it's a little bit weird on like how we operate it, because the zine is like, I like to call it the circular economy. Every artist that we interview and every single person that participates in the zine gets paid for it. So the whole idea is time. You know, the time and money needs to value one another. So I just shared this with you. We've got several of them. So we did have them on layer 2s, but unfortunately technology wasn't on our side when we were using Zora. So they changed, they don't have some PDFs anymore. And then we ended up going back to object. But the idea is for people to read the information and appreciate like art. The coolest one is the women's month edition. Yeah, the Women's Month edition. That one is probably the coolest one, because the first one, yeah. So we did a Black History Month edition and a Women's Month edition. And myself, this is the designer part of me. So this is the part of me when I'm not creating, I need to kind of put words in flesh. Oh, if you click on it, you can actually preview. That's the whole reason why we did. Yeah, because the idea was, it's not to sell the magazine. It's pretty cool. Like if you want to go and purchase a zine, we do have collectors. But June Kim was the key artist that we worked with. I'm pretty sure people know who June Red Thread is. And getting to scroll through a digital zine and learn about crypto is kind of like a cool thing. And the theme was Women's Month. So I got to work with 7 incredible women that helped us write the zine. And Shay the Surrealist helped me, like all the background infographics and illustrations. This is kind of like how we work together. So it's a good cross collaboration of me bringing artistry and my design background into it. My goal, and what I loved about your guys' platform was you've solved my problem of explaining the entire piece to the collector, like bringing the YouTube part and everything. Because I would love to make PDFs to give every single piece of mine an identity, because I feel like I'm at that level right now where no stone should be left unturned. Like it's like, I felt the same way when I watched Sinners. Every single time I watched the film, I went back wondering and wanting to want more. Oh, don't worry, it's not all illustrated. So we do get to the interviews like in the background. So like,
sorry, I got distracted because I was like, wait, I haven't seen Sinners yet. I need no spoilers.
Oh, sorry, yeah, sorry, sorry if I did a spoiler.
No, that's okay. I've been having this discourse with a couple of friends about if they thought it was if they loved it or if they thought it was just okay. But
I loved it because I love learning. I love learning about culture. I always think about this. Ryan Coogler made Black Panther, and I can tell you as an African, I found it weird in the beginning, but then I appreciated the movie a little bit more because it's what the diaspora saw rather than what people on the continent. That's what it was made for. So only when I went to America, I started to have an understanding about how content and media is presented. So Sinners is very important for people like me to go and understand, like, hey, our ancestors that got shipped away, how are they doing? And at the same time in Africa, like myself, it's my personal duty to educate and let people know, like in the diaspora, like this is what my situation and my reality is as an Afrofuturist as well. That's why I didn't mention it, because I know Afrofuturism is really deep rooted in American literature and culture from like Mark Derry. But I don't want to call myself yet until I can discover what my Afrofuturistic take is going to be like as an African living in Africa. I can't have the same dream as someone living away from the continent. Like I need to see my own continent improve. Oh, this is the coolest one. Like June, this is my favorite, like working on her, like as a designer. June is a fantastic artist, but besides that, her work speaks for itself. And the idea behind the zine is showing people the immersive experience and galleries and preserving this kind of stuff. Like we do so much in Web3, no one gets to read about the artist, gets to see the pictures. We just have all these random articles online that we have to go and put in our link trees and all of our bios. So I started to discover it's not like the quantity, but like the quality of work. So it's pretty cool that we pay the artists for like working with us. And oh, funny enough, Refraction was actually a sponsor of the first ever zine when we released back Miami Art Basel 2023, I believe. And we did something where we curated, we put them in the zine, got all the collectors to kind of like have an idea and an explanation. That's the whole idea of 16 by 9.
Yeah, this is really awesome. I'm going to bookmark this for saving this for later. I feel like I'm going to have a lot of reading material today.
Oh,
this is amazing. Awesome. Okay, let me. Perfect. Okay, so how else can, well, number one, thank you for sharing your work and also your background and your like just your overall vision as an artist. How else can we follow you? Are you on socials?
I feel like it's a copy pasta. I am Vintage on every single thing if you want to get a hold of me. My government name is available on the internet if people want to come and find me. Like I don't really hide that. With curate, I do wonder one day when digital artists will be allowed to get into galleries. I want to get into a gallery as Vintage Mozart. I haven't yet gotten into one. I have to sign like my legal name for payment and all of that. So that's like my whole goal. Like one day to be recognized as that person and like not denounce my government name, but be known as that person rather.
Yeah, but that is your artist persona or your artist identity. So
precisely.
That's amazing. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for sharing. We'll definitely going to be checking out the zine and also loved your work. I remember seeing this on when I was browsing Universal Pages, and I was like, okay, this is really cool. So I'm very, and I didn't know this was part of the Refraction program. So I'm glad that you got to hop on and share a little bit more insight because yeah, I knew there's a lot more to a lot like more to be told with it. So
and thank you for the opportunity. Like this is so cool that you did this for every single person, every single artist I know today appreciated it. And to all the viewers, like I'm glad you got to get educated about everyone.
Yeah, amazing. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pull you off stage, but thank you. It was great connecting with you, and we'll definitely be in touch.
Definitely will be in touch as well. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. All right, Fabian.
Hello.
Hey.
Suddenly put on screen.
Exactly, just an impromptu welcome. I'm not sure if folks are still around. I know quite a few dropped, but just wanted to bring you on for any closing thoughts or like what are your takeaways from today? We saw like a lot of really cool, just unique ways of using universal profiles and digital art, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I was watching everything, and obviously there's a few more Refraction artists. I actually made a tweet with the whole list of all the links of all these, and we will also like post them in the coming days with all the different artists, because there's, I think, 16 or so that created art, and this was only like a small subset. I wanted to add a few closing thoughts and also kind of as a bit of an inspiration, because like what we have seen here is like that it's so easy to create a profile and then create your artworks if it's an NFT or whatever else. But then you like Vintage Mozart just said, you can tell the story. And currently in the NFT landscape, it's always about like, okay, you have like these marketplaces, then you have all of these pieces and a piece of text, and that's the whole background. And at most, you don't even have really a reference to the creator, right? The idea of a universal profile is that you now have this digital self that can create your artwork for the foreseeable future from the same source, so that like in 2-3 years time you can go back and see, oh, that's that person, he created all of these things and they had this life here and that life there. And in fact, it can even go further. You can have a universal profile that represents the artwork itself, right? Then you can have the profile owning the artwork itself, but then having all the context and all the information and videos and references, its own followers and whatever protocols people invent around these profiles and these art profiles. I think like it's like the sky is the limit, really, what can be done by having this identity now in there, be it an identity of an artist, a collective or an art piece.
Yeah.
And maybe also one other thing is, he was just showing the art collective an object, right? And which is there's this omnious name, and then there's all of these different pieces, and it's a little hard to understand that this is actually a collective and who did what. I mean, the universal profile can transform into a collective, right? Because you can actually make that same profile controllable and ownable by a group of people, and go even further and DAOify it down the road, and make it with voting based on whatever, some membership or some tokens or whatever else. And it's not hard to then even reference all the other profiles that are part of the collective. This is just as simple as coming up with an idea of how we want to standardize this in the most generic way, and then displaying this on Universal Everything or any other platform. And I think what really also needs to be understood, that this is truly, like, then for the first time, like, the artist's identity that's on chain. That means it's outside of any single platform. Even though it looks like, okay, that's on Universal Everything, so I have now a profile here, and before I had a profile on Instagram, on whatever other platform. But the idea is that is the only profile you actually control yourself, and we don't control. And that's the only profile that can live on many different platforms, and it's the same one. And that changes things, right? Obviously, that needs to be discovered, and that it needs to be explored. And this is really just very much the beginning of seeing. But I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see when really creative people come together, when more tools are being built that artists and even non-technical people can use, and what kind of communities form around that, and what kind of collectives, what kind of dynamics between the different groups and the different creations. And maybe one last piece is, I would love to see a lot more on-chain art. I mean, that's a bit more for the sophisticated, more smart contract savvy kind of artist, because so much we could do on-chain. And I'm not just meaning make an NFT, right, that references an image, but build some kind of protocol that literally interacts with profiles, or that interacts with whatever is happening on-chain automatically, and then forms its own art piece continuously. Maybe as a little bit of an idea, and that goes a little bit technical, on your universal profile, you have a universal receiver function built in. Every token that's being sent to your profile calls that universal receiver function automatically. There's something called a universal receiver delegate. That's an external contract that you can build yourself. You could then make, for example, 1,000 people, ask them, hey, you want to add this universal receiver delegate to your profile? And this one could then feed into a smart contract protocol that every single time any of those profiles receives a token, that other smart contract changes something and generates maybe a different image, or generates different kind of data out of which you make sounds or whatever installation. And this way, based on the activity of all of those random 1,000 people and their token sending and token receiving behavior, that artwork would change. And it's all completely automated, just in smart contracts, just on chain. That would be a cool idea. I don't know if someone feels
anybody
that can be done. It would be real on-chain artwork. So
no, I think it was also cool to see, or I guess maybe because I just haven't fully immersed myself in this space, or in digital art space yet, but it was really cool to see. I think it was I'm forgetting. I got to go through. There was a couple artists. I think it was Sunshine Vendetta, and then I want to say it was Jan, who created dynamic art based off of universal profiles or what is in their wallet. But taking it a step further to have something that's just ever changing based on the universal receiver, I think that would be.
I mean, this what he does is basically reading on-chain data and feeding it into web audio and WebGL, I guess, a system that kind of generates it. But you could really do that the smart contract does the work. That literally the transactions on chain generate the thing, which makes it completely immutable, or immutable in the sense that no one could interfere, and it would just continuously generating that artwork based on the activity, whoever wants to participate. I mean, there's some other technical details I don't want to get too deep, but that would be a fun thing. That's also what makes burn pics so interesting art, because the fractal of the burnt pixel is completely generated on chain, and nothing is off chain. It's all literally the machine of the blockchain, you know, creating that thing. Yeah, that would be then a real on-chain art, and I think this is a whole like space of future exploration that the current like digital art space hasn't really even dig that deep yet. I mean, it's still kind of on the surface, but now at least we have profiles and we have like the identities that, you know, you can become your home as an artist or collective, and then start playing around in this digital way. So looking forward to seeing what's being created down the road. This is really just early days here.
Yeah, no, agreed. I think, or just something that you said reminds me that, or I guess what makes universal profile so special is that, and this is what I was gathering from the conversations I had with the artists today, is that artists care about sharing their process, you know, more than just like, I mean, it's just as important as, you know, creating the art and putting it out there. But once you are putting it out there, they want a space to share that process, and that's where, that's what makes universal profiles
exactly different. And this is also exactly what makes the art world run, right? The art world is not just somebody creates something and then suddenly out of nowhere it becomes popular. There's curation, there is the story behind it, there is the connections, you know, what piece was, the history of it, where was it before, who had it then, and how it moved around. And that's what makes the Mona Lisa kind of a thing, right? Like, because has this history trait, and then all of these different museums and all of these different people that had interactions with it, and that kind of like creates why that image and that one painting is more important than other paintings that were at that time. And the blockchain makes it kind of very transparent and traceable, and now even, you know, fully ownable by yourself forever. And that also counts for the creators, right? Which currently in Web3 don't really have an identity outside of a single platform. Like OpenSea, your profile on OpenSea is not your identity, right? That's just the profile on OpenSea. Your profile on Object is not your profile. You don't own any of those profiles. It's just like your key that's gibberish on chain that might represent your identity, but nobody remembers that. A universal profile is very different because it actually is an on-chain profile. And that becomes extremely important for future digital art.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm going to go ahead and close out the space, but no, thank you for sharing.
Thanks everybody for presenting. It was super interesting to see and fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll give a shout out to everyone that we had on stage here. We have Concord, Jan, Sunshine Vendetta, Craig Barrow, Happy Snacks, and Vintage Mozart. And then also special thanks to the artists that weren't able to make it to the stream today. I believe we've got some content that will be releasing to share everyone's work and celebrate all these artists from Abstract Parameters. But thanks for joining also, Fabian, and sharing some closing thoughts and really awesome inspiration. So if anyone's listening, there's some good ideas in there too. But,
thank you, everybody.
All right. Take care. Bye. All right. Let me close the space.